thing. Welcome everybody to WBC Talks. I don't even know what round we're in, but we're in, I think, round 200 and 400, and I don't know, round 35? Is it round 35?
36, I think.
36. Okay, it's going to be a round to remember. So today we're going to talk about one of the most amazing programs that I've ever had the pleasure to be a part of, a small part of it, but it was emotional and moving. It's called
36.
One Dream. It was one of my favorite youth programs. It was not only about boxing, it was about social growth, cultural awareness, diversity, education, respect for the body, respect for self, and respect for opponents. It took kids from Chicago and had them interact with kids from Mexico. Each group went through similar athletic and social programs and then came together at the end. The result of this was fortunate for the hardworking youngsters and can only be summed up in one word: success. What bewilders me is why this program, Two Nations, One Dream, is not everywhere. It should be in every school, every country, every city, and in every newspaper. I don't understand why they don't write about programs. So here we have with us those who are most committed to Two Nations, One Dream. And by the end of this broadcast, I'm sure you will be convinced that this program was not only important, but it holds the future to our youth, to our countries, and to everything that matters to us in boxing. Can we see the video now, Gilbert? Can we? I mean, I know I sound like a salesman, but when I went for the weekend to spend with these people on this program, it was one of the most experiences that I ever had. And these kids, they had to work hard to get into this program, not only physically, but not only athletically, but also academically. So it was an amazing program. So first, let me introduce our panel. Here we have Felix Gonzalez. Wave, Felix.
Hey, how are you guys?
He's a 5-time national champion, 150 amateur bouts, top amateur boxer in the US, and he's in college, and he dreams of going pro. Is that true?
Yes, absolutely.
Be a WBC champion?
Yes.
Okay, we'll take you. And then we have 𝗧𝗔𝗟𝗞𝗦, who's the executive manager of Illinois Boxing Commission. He's the director of the volunteer work for the WBC in Chicago, and he runs many, many WBC amateur programs, and we're very grateful to have him with us. Want to say hello, Joel?
Hello, everybody.
How are things in Chicago?
Not bad, not bad, except for this virus. Everything else is,
Well,
finally the weather's breaking, everything's looking beautiful, but we got to stay indoors.
Yep, we do. We have 𝗧𝗨𝗡𝗗. He's worked with the WBC on various projects, especially on the Two Nations, One Dream, and he works with the WBC amateur shows. He's a matchmaker for Unanimous Boxing Gym, and he was an amateur boxer himself, so he's got a real feeling for these kids, having started where they did. How are you doing, 𝗧𝗨?
Doing good. Thank you so much for having us on and having me. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
It's a pleasure. And here we have 𝗧𝗨 Ruiz. Now, 𝗧𝗨 is a world famous international referee. You've done so many champion fights, and yet you've decided to give yourself to these kids in this program. It's like so admirable, and we thank you for that, 𝗧𝗨.
Thank you. Thank you. It's an honor to work with all these kids and to give back to the community.
Yeah, it's great. We appreciate it. And Michelle Solomon, Director of Social Programs at the WBC. And with Two Nations, One Dream, he was a coordinator between Mexico and Chicago. And look, we have someone new joining us in their championship shirt. Omar, how are you, Omar?
Definitely.
Omar is a four-time Power Gloves champion, a two-time WBC amateur champion, a ringside world tournament champion, a junior Olympic medalist, and you were ranked number 6 in the nation at 114 in 2018. Can you carry all that? I mean, that's like amazing. How are you doing?
Good.
Great. Well, we're glad to have you here. So, I mean, I know about this program. I was there, but why don't we start with how it came about? So, Michelle, can you tell us about what happened in Mexico to start this in motion, please? Michelle? Can you hear?
Fell asleep, siesta time.
I think Michelle is his camera person. Can you see my lips moving?
Yeah, it's a pleasure, Jill. And it happened very interesting because the Chicago Consul, can you hear me?
Yes, perfectly.
No, do you hear me?
Perfectly.
Yes.
Yeah, but do you hear me?
Yes.
Do you hear me now?
Yeah, we hear you. Yeah.
Okay, so the thing was that the Mexican consulate in Chicago was interested in developing a program between the 3 cities that were very complex at the time. That Chicago has a lot of people from Guerrero, and in Acapulco the violence was terrible. So they had the idea if they could link the youth and do the same program at the same time in the cities, it would be great to people to be together. So they contact us, and with the help of Mauricio Sulaiman, our president, and Rodrigo Cobo, and the team that was in charge in Acapulco, Pepe Mansura and Lorena, we tried to do the best program we could do for the kids, just teaching them and develop what we could do there. So the funny thing was that Mauricio always told, we were worried about Chicago because we had control of Acapulco and Mexico City, we knew it, but from Chicago, he only told us, don't worry, el hermano, he will take care of it. So we asked, who is hermano? He said, don't worry, until we met the famous hermano, that 𝗧𝗔𝗟𝗞𝗦, and he took control of everything there in Chicago, and everything runs smoothly. So that's when we met him.
So Joel, pick it up. What happened in Chicago? And by the way, Joel, were you ever a boxer?
Yeah, amateur, just a couple of years, nothing to brag about. I found out that stuff hurts, so.
A little bit and get hit. This isn't for me.
Yeah, no, I used to box for the Harrison Park, Chicago Park districts.
Wow, that's tough.
Just a couple summers.
Pick it up in Chicago. How did it go from there?
Well, Mauricio approached me and he presented the idea, and I thought it was interesting because they wanted to see what the kids in Acapulco, Mexico City, and Chicago had in common especially the ones that migrated here as young kids and grew up here in the city. Then he told me that Chicago was the biggest, had the biggest population of people that came from Guerrero, and I didn't know that. I said, okay. So we started looking around, and he said, let's put this together. And I started looking for a team, you know, Celestino, Lalo, Leo, Derek, Fermin. We had a good team of people to put, let's put a committee together. And we started looking for a good trainer, and we contacted a lot of people, and all the good ones didn't show up. So we ended up with Lalo, you know. No, Lalo's a top guy. He works well with kids. So we wanted one of the young guys to come in and help us put this together. So
Lalo before?
I'm sorry?
Did you know Lalo before?
Yeah. Yeah. He's been around for quite a while. We've been involved in boxing for quite a number of years. So we put the team together, and that's when I met Michelle and Rodrigo Cobo. They came over, and we ended up putting this whole program together.
So I'm missing Rodrigo here. Where's Rodrigo? We'll have to talk about that later.
He's busy.
He's busy.
He's busy.
So that's quite a thing
No,
to put people together from Mexico and from Chicago. What, Michelle?
what I wanted to tell you that it was amazing. For example, when we went scouting with Mauricio and Rodrigo, we went to several gyms with Joel and Lalo, and we went to a very fancy and the most beautiful gym I've ever seen. That was unanimous in my life. But then we went to Oakley, where the program was held, and we liked it a lot. But the fun part was when we went to CYBC, when we met Pastor Victor and these guys, Felix, and that beautiful gym. When we got in the gym, Mauricio said, now we are talking about boxing. It smelled like sweat and a lot of work. And he said, that's what boxing is about. It's not so fancy, but it's a great place to do it. So it was like our second home in Chicago after Oakley.
That's great. So how did people qualify for this program? How did you get your young boxers?
What we try to do is we try to get boxers from all over the Chicago and the Chicagoland area. So it wasn't just one gym. And we started interviewing a lot of the boxers. And the first requirement was to be from the town of Guerrero. But that was kind of complicated because a lot of them didn't box. So we try to get as close as possible. And we ended up with 21, Lalo? Was it 21 boxers?
Actually, we started off with 23. We had 23 in the beginning. And then from there, it kind of, people didn't stick with the program too much. It was like, I think only like 3 people dropped out of the program. So it was, I thought it was still a success. For whatever reason, their grades were falling, or they're just weren't behaving well outside the boxing ring, the boxing gym. So they kind of fell off. It was unfortunate. We definitely tried to get everybody back in that left, but sometimes there just could be knuckleheads.
So part of the qualification was an academic standard and a behavior standard, and the need to give to the community was part of the program. It wasn't just that you could box or where you came from. So how did you interview all of these people, and how did you put it together?
Once we went through the interview process. Oh, go ahead, Lalo. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Finish, Joel.
Once we went through the interview process, we explained to all the boxers the commitment they got to commit, because they got to train, and they're required to train. If they miss a day for sickness or school, they will have to make it up. And once they went through the process of interviewing, then we talked to the parents to make sure that they are able to commit to those certain dates, because they had to train one day during the week and a weekend. We provided breakfast for them, like a nutritional stuff in the morning, but it was mainly getting them to commit and the family to commit, because it was a 3-month program. It wasn't just overnight. you know, and we pick people from different neighborhoods, which they were rivals at one time, but they ended up being good friends and almost family now after finishing the program. You know, so we didn't want to just concentrate in one area. We wanted to concentrate all over Chicago and the suburbs.
So, Omar, was it difficult to do that once a week and every weekend?
It was a bit challenging, like dealing with school and the outside world and going, but I got it done.
Yeah, you got it done because you wanted to. And what about you? Did you find it difficult also to take the one day and the weekend commitment to it? Felix?
I wouldn't say necessarily difficult, but there were some challenges in between. But I'm very grateful for the program, and it was something that I was very motivated for when they offered the opportunity to me. So I'm very happy that I went through with it. So,
Lalo, could you tell us about the training that went on?
Yeah, definitely. But first off, I'd like just to say that this Two Nations, One Dream program has been by far the best experience I've ever had in boxing, from my amateur career to now up to this point. This program was beyond phenomenal, beyond amazing, and it's the highlight of my boxing ever. With that being said, this was a phenomenal program. First day of training, I had 23 kids, and it was myself and another coach, 𝗧𝗥𝗨𝗡𝗗, who was the head coach over at Harrison Park boxing gym. And I had these 23 kids in there, and they were like, here you go, you got 3 months to train these kids. And they already were trained. They had a decent foundation. Some were very skilled, some not so much, but it wasn't about how skilled you were or how many fights you had. It was, were you able to do this? Were your grades good? Were you committed? And I told them the first thing is, like, I know you're from this gym and this gym and this gym, but you're not anymore. You are part of this team Chicago now. You guys are all teammates now, and you're all going to work together. You're all going to get better from this. I was like, we can definitely make this happen. And we did. It was 3 months of hard training, and the kids gave it their all. Out of 23 kids, 20 lasted in the program. We had a final show with 19 bouts, but it wasn't it wasn't just boxing though. We did social work. We did volunteer work. We went to a pantry and we packed food for homeless countries. We went on Thanksgiving. We went to a soup kitchen, and we everybody there gave out volunteered and gave out Thanksgiving dinner. The whole team showed up along with the officials, Joel and Celestino and the other gentlemen that were involved as well. It was an amazing experience. So it wasn't just boxing. It was social aspects. You know, what good can we do? What's it's more than just a sport. It's a lifestyle. And these kids, Omar, for example, and Felix, for example, exemplified this. And I'm grateful to still know them, and I'm grateful to still be in touch with, honestly, the vast majority of the kids that were in the program. I'm still in touch with, and majority still compete, and they cheer each other on. And that's the great part about it, is that they became not just teammates, but friends, good friends. And now they would cheer each other on at different events. When one would win, everybody would come take pictures with them or congratulate them afterwards. This was a phenomenal experience, and I'm so grateful to have been a part of it.
Now, I know that the weekend that I was there, basically what I saw was, I know I spoke to everybody as one of the guest speakers, and I want to go over who actually attended and inspired the kids. That I watched them, little kids to a little bit older kids, they all worked out like crazy in the gym. They all ate well, but then the next day we went to a place where we were taught how to pack food to distribute to other countries, and that was
Right.
the program. You had to do your community service, and then the next day they served Christmas dinner.
Thanksgiving.
It was Thanksgiving in a community,
Thanksgiving.
and they acted as the and they acted out as the people who gave out the dinner. I mean, what a life lesson this is. And that was all part of one program. It just was quite amazing. And you did that every weekend. Was it the same in Mexico, Michelle? Is it the same kind of program where they did community service between?
Yeah, it was the same idea, Jill. You know, the kids, they attended different places. For example, they went to schools and painted some gyms. We donated in Acapulco a boxing ring, some equipment. In other places, for example, a dentist, because it was the whole idea that here in Mexico, Lorena and Pepe did an amazing job, because it's the kids, for example, in Acapulco, when we did the scouting, we only wanted to have 30 kids, and 70, more than 100 showed up. We don't have no more space. And they said, we don't mind if we don't have, you know, the welcome kit or the food. We just want to be out of the streets and stay out of trouble. So that's amazing. And yeah, the idea of work was the same idea here. The idea was to do a mirror program. So everything we did there, we did almost the same thing here. So it was amazing, the response of the people here, and at the same time in Chicago, you know. It was when we went to visit the hospital, and the kids, when they saw the belt, even though they didn't yet know the champions, for example, in that visit you went with us, we went with Fresa and Montel Griffin, and it was amazing because they even didn't know the champion, but as soon as they saw the belt, the WBC belt, or we gave them away some stuff, we changed the day for those kids. So it changed the way of people to see us.
Celestino, a person of your regard in the boxing industry, what made you get involved and get so much of your time to this program?
You know, I got inspired to the program because how they were saying they were going to help out kids, and I was all for it. And just to see the stuff that I saw with these kids when, you know, through all my boxing career, whatever, it just, it was amazing, because I've never seen these kids so happy before. I mean, especially when I saw them in the convention and they were just taking pictures with, because I kind of like tricked them. I said, listen, I've not seen not one person get an autograph from Mayweather or a picture with him. He's just not that type of person. And it was amazing how all of a sudden everybody just showed me their phone and they says, hey man, I got one with Mayweather. I was like, wow, you're probably one of the few. And I couldn't believe how happy they were. It was just amazing. And then, you know, I would question them during the convention. And so what did you guys eat today and stuff like that? We gave them money to go eat and stuff like that. And it was kind of funny. One of the kids says, yeah, I took the money, but instead of to go eat, I went and got me a massage.
Good for him. Oh my guy. Right
But
there.
that was kind of funny, you know. So, you know, we were just, you know, it's amazing. The program was just amazing all the way around. I mean, because of this program, we were able to recruit so many officials and so many boxers, because everybody really wanted to fight for the WBC or for the Two Nation One Dream. And 2016, after 2017 and 18 and 19, and actually 20, we've recruited over 1,000 boxers. Before we would average 400. And now we're recruiting 1,000. I mean, that's amazing because of what this program done. And I mean, it's just, I mean, I think we should keep this program going. I think it's just amazing how we recruited all these officials and boxers, and it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing.
You throw a pebble in the water and people see the ripples and come to it. But as I said, programs like this don't get the attention that they need, because we always hear about the negative things. We don't hear as much about the positive things. So tell me, astound us with the people who came and spoke to the kids, the champions and the speakers that came and visited the gyms and spoke to the kids. Who are they?
Well, we had several, like say, professional boxers. We had former world champion Carlos Cuadras come. We had Eric Morales was one of the champions that came. David Diaz, former 135-pound champion. Montel Griffin was one of the champions that came. 𝗧𝗔𝗟𝗡𝗗 was one of the guys that came. And they all gave their stories. Adrian.
Don't forget Mikey Garcia.
Yeah, and they all gave their stories.
When I was there, came to one of the to one of the events. Champion
Oh yeah, yeah.
Bam Bam Rios came.
Bam Bam Rio, Vando Holyfield.
And Holyfield. And where
Tony Harrison.
opportunity? Yeah, I mean,
Yes, too.
not only boxers, you had other kind of speakers come in too.
We did. There was one in particular, Robert Renteria. He was an author of From the Barrio to the Boardroom was the book he wrote. And that of all the speakers, the non-athletic speakers, I should say, he was probably the one that kind of stood out the most to me. And we developed a really good friendship after the fact. His book is basically about how he lived a really really hard childhood, gangs and drugs, and how he was able to turn his life around and get involved in business. And it was like a laundromat, just like selling washing machines to laundromats, and how he just built his way up. How he just through hard work and tenacity, he was able to buy his mom a car. You know, and it would just built off that. Now he's a successful businessman, an author, and now he's a motivational speaker. And he came and he spoke to these kids, and it really, his passion that he had, it spoke to me even. Like I was like, wow, this guy's amazing. And we've been friends ever since.
That was Mauricio.
Can I say one thing, Jill?
Please.
Yeah, before he lost some weight, what I want to tell you is that also when Eric Morales went to the gym, one thing that he left for me, he was telling that when he grew up in Tijuana, he had a gang, or well, a friends, that there were 10 of them. And he told the kids, well, from the 10 kids that we were in our group, 5 ended in jail, 4 were dead, and he was alive because of boxing. So it was impressive, you know, because everybody thinks that boxing is because it's a contact sport is terrible, but it's a great discipline. The kids, that's why I fell in love with amateur boxing after this program. No, I heard the champions, the way what they had to go through, and you hear their stories. Even though the guys also from CYBC, they went to talk about the kids about alcoholism and drug abuse, violence, and it changed, you know, what you hear about them, and the people giving so much. And it was also amazing from the people from Chicago, from the team, like Fermin and everybody. They do it only because of the love of the sport. It's in the USA, I was amazed with that. You know, the referees, the judges, and the guys that were in the team, they did everything for the kids, you know, and that's why I became so committed with amateur boxing, because it's amazing. And also the kids, you know, they gave so much, and for this program and the rest of the event, it's amazing.
Well, it's amazing to me also that authenticity cuts through. When you bring people who've really been there and they speak to kids, kids know. They know it's the truth. It's not like bringing in some $1 million hip basketball player that comes in his Rolls Royce. They know that if this guy made it, they could make it. They're talking the truth to the kids, and it really means it. Tell me, Felix, what do you feel like you got the most out of this program?
I would have to say just volunteering at these soup kitchens and packaging food. It made me realize how much I like helping people. It was something that I never got to experience before. And I feel that's something that paved the way for me to find my interest in college. And I chose to be an EMT, and I guess it was just because I feel like I like helping people, and I would have never known that without WBC.
And with the pandemic going on right now, you still want to be an EMT?
Yes, for sure. I think in June, they told us that we're going to begin our clinical hours in. So I'll be able to work in ambulances and in hospitals, helping people. I'm very excited to help out. So we'll see how that goes.
Wow. And what about you, Omar? What do you feel like this program did for you?
I feel like I learned a new side of boxing. It's not only boxing. They teach us about the outside world, life skills, teamwork, hard work and discipline, dedication. And I love that you was incorporated, like helping out others, like Felix said, not just boxing. Use help. Use gave us like an idea of the real world, and helping out others is one thing.
Have you made friends from the program and kept them since the program has been
Yeah,
over?
Um,
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
a lot of them.
So here's my next question, of course. So now you have this going on in Mexico, you have it going on in Chicago, and you're starting to do the boxing training. So what happens now as we move towards the tournaments? How does that work? And how did you work that out? And where did the kids go? Take us to the tournaments.
So what we had was at the very end of the program, there was a show. There was a large show. So I had to match up all the kids from the program versus other kids from the area, and it was a great show. I believe we had 19 bouts, and I believe we won 16 out of the 19 bouts. We ended up winning those fights. So then, based off those winners that we had to select to the committee a handful of our winners that would then go to Mexico City.
Well, let me back this up just for a second, Lelo.
Yeah.
So your group, you match make within the group to
Correct.
find
No, they didn't want to. I'm sorry, they didn't want to fight each other. They didn't want to fight each other. The beginning, that was the plan, but they
Right.
grew. They ended up becoming like brothers. So we had to go out and match them with, or Lalo and the group had to go out and match them with somebody else.
Wow. So of the ones in your group that won their bout, they were now eligible to go to Mexico to fight the Mexican team.
Correct. Yeah. So in Mexico, they did something similar, and they had a team that had won down there, and we were able to match make was it I believe four bouts, and we flew some kids down to Mexico City, and we all stayed in a hotel. Their parents came down. We were down there for a few days, and they fought on a pro card in Zócalo in Mexico City. It was the first time they ever had boxing in Zócalo, and it was an honor to be part of it. We had the ring walk. Myself and Fermin Ayala were the other coach. They were corners for the kids, and in front of thousands of people. It was an amazing experience, and we kicked butt, and we won some and we lost some, but it was a great great experience, and every fight was an exciting fight. It was a very good fight.
Omar, Felix, did either of you go to Mexico?
Yes, I did.
What was it like? Was it your first time?
Yes, it was my first time, and
Was
it
that
was great. It was very exciting. You see a lot. It's a completely different atmosphere, and it was very exciting. There was a lot of people watching me fight, so that was something different. And it's something I'm gonna remember for the rest of my life.
Do you think that influenced you to want to go pro?
Yes, absolutely. I've always wanted to be a professional boxer since I started boxing, but that definitely it gave me like a sense of how it feels, and I'm very excited.
And also one thing, Jill,
Please. Ah. Yep. I forgot you had some women on your team too. We didn't even discuss that. You had some very, very good young girls.
Yeah,
Jill.
Yes, I hear you.
And also one thing that was at the beginning, the idea was to bring fighters from Mexico to Chicago to fight, but the problem.
These are great pictures. Is that Robert in there? Can't tell.
No, that's not him. But yeah, as you were saying, Jill, we did have two girls on the team, and Vivian Gutierrez, who's still boxing, who's now currently ranked number 4 in the nation, and Juliana Irales, who's no longer in boxing but is in college now, and it was very difficult to match the girls because there's not too many girls at that specific age and weight. But we were able to do an exhibition bout between them. And it was an amazing bout. Those two little girls gave it their all, had the crowd on their feet. Actually, it was the second time that they had fought prior to that, they fought at the Power Gloves for the championship tournament, and it was honestly, it was probably one of the best bouts I'd ever seen. I don't know if Felix or Omar, do you remember when Julie fought at the Power Gloves?
Yeah.
It was one of the best, most exciting fights that I had ever seen, and I was pleased to say that I'm Vivian's coach. She was able to pull off a very, very hard fought win. So I'm very proud of them. And Vivian is still active with also hopes to turn professional once she turns around 19 years old.
And some of you actually went to the convention. Either of you go to the convention, the WBC convention in Miami?
Yeah, I went.
Felix, what about you, Omar?
No, I didn't go.
Come on, why didn't you bring Omar? What's the matter with you?
When the whole thing, Mauricio said, let's pick the best boxer and we'll invite him to the convention. It's a reward. And talking to him, he says, you know what? Let's take 2. And then we ended up taking 4. And then Dr. Ward said, you know what? I'll pitch in and I'll help out to pay for 2 more to go to the convention.
Nice.
So that's how we ended up getting more and more and more. You know, Mauricio, he's got such a kind heart that he said,
He does.
you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, but they had a great time. It was a great experience.
And I think
We ended up taking 6.
I'm sorry, Lalo?
No, I was going to say we ended up taking six boxers, and Omar is one of the best boxers in the city and was one of the best boxers in that program. They were all outstanding boxers. The only problem was Omar at the time. Omar and Felix were on the same team, so we couldn't out of the same gym. I should say they were out of the same gym, so we weren't able to take too many kids from one gym. So we tried to spread it out to all the gyms. So each gym
Omar, I owe you a convention. Just remember, they owe you a convention. I think the next one's in Russia. So what is it a picture of? I see Madi, and what is this a picture of?
That's we had a talk with Marisa. She did a talk with us over at the convention, and then we were recognized on stage at the convention. There's just various pictures of us meeting some of the best legendary boxers in the sport. Lennox Lewis, Miguel Cotto, Julio 𝗧𝗔𝗟𝗡, Floyd Mayweather, for some of them who got lucky enough to get in there. It was and then we had a dinner, so that's us dressed up and ready to go to dinner. And the amazing thing was some of these kids had never been on an airplane before or even out of the neighborhood. So this was their first time ever at an airport or anywhere, going anywhere. I remember taking them each to their rooms, and the girls were sharing a room, and they were excited because they never seen a mirror that big in their life before. And that with the mirror was in their room. They're like, "Oh my God, did you see the mirror in our room?" And I was like, "That's a big mirror. You should see the view."
Felix, was this your first time in Miami?
Yes, it was.
Did you like it? You like having the beach?
Absolutely, yes, very beautiful. I remember being at the hotel and there's these big pools, and I was very excited about that. And then I looked to the back and I remember seeing the beach back there. I was like, oh my God, I never even noticed it was back there.
Wow. And Omar, I mean, you're really, really moving up in the amateur standings. How has it been this period of time not being able to really work out at a gym and such? What are you doing positively with your time?
I'm biking, running. I got a bag right here. I hit it, shadow box, and just conditioning. I got a backyard running track, so I'm using my resources and doing the best I can.
Well, you look like you're in shape, that's for sure. I understand that all of you guys also donated equipment to many gyms around Chicago and in Mexico while this program was going on too. Isn't that true? That you helped supply supplies to other gyms in the area that you have?
They did. They renovated CYBC. They actually painted it. I think they donated like 7 boxing bags, boxing gloves for Everlast and stuff like that. I mean, they did a really good program for these guys. And the plan was we were going to try to do it every year and help different gyms. But, you know, with the situation now, hopefully we get back on track on that. I mean, that would be the best thing for all the gyms, you know, to
What happened to after Chicago, we talked to a lot of consuls in Dallas and Los Angeles, and they were going to continue with the programs in their city. They loved it, but with the change of administrations and everything, they got kind of slow. But the idea right now, what developed afterwards is great, because after that, we've done tournaments in Chicago, we've done in Phoenix, LA, and everywhere. So we have great plan. Well, what came after that, besides meeting these great people, I forgot to also mention, we met Patty Cortez. She was from the government of Mexico. She did an amazing job for us. And we met people amazing like Pastor Victor, and everybody gave their heart. And now we have a great idea of where we want to take the WBC amateur program. You know, it's not just boxing, it's teaching kids and everything. So it's great what we did during the program and what came after the program.
Yeah, absolutely. WBC bases it all on what we call 𝗥𝗢𝗨𝗡𝗗, boxing with values. And this fits in completely. I mean, when the world wakes up again, and maybe it will even be a better world, we don't know, then we can go and move this forward again, and the boxers can box again, and the young boxers can train again. I mean, it's so hard to know, but it is like a new beginning.
It is. And I get a lot of kids, especially when I go to these shows, that they're asking to fight the next WBC, the WBC league tournament. And I mean, we got so many kids that want to fight in that program that I told them, look, I'll take your name down, and when the program comes back, you know, we'll keep you in mind. Just stay in the gym and stay focused.
It's hard.
So,
but
yeah. So it's great. It's a great program, and what I like about it is the WBC is always giving something to the gyms, and it's a great thing. And we have a little situation where the USA Boxing is trying to raise fees on certain shows, and I'm an advocate for it. I'm pretty much telling them, look, the WBC is one program that donates to a lot of gym, so be careful on how you want to raise these fees.
right.
So, but
Difficult.
hopefully hopefully with my input, it would just stay where it's at, and hopefully I'm trying to keep it where it's at for all the gyms, because we're here to help boxing. We're not here to hurt it.
Right.
We still do, Joe. We still do an event every year, as you know. You visit us quite a while, and we have other states. We just did one in Arizona at the beginning of the year. So we have other states wanting the WBC Amateur League to continue doing events, for us to continue opening doors, because they see the value. These kids love that golden green belt.
The truth is, nobody does it as well as the WBC. And I'm not saying this because I work with them. I don't work for them. I don't earn any money from boxing. So my viewpoint is not biased. I'm with them because they are the best. And when it comes to the youth, their social programs are the best. They're totally dedicated to them. And every kid wants a green belt. There's no. So before I ask you for final remarks, take me to a fight night. I remember walking in Chicago into that fight night. Tony Harrison was there. There were lights everywhere. There were kids everywhere. And Joel, you designed those little outfits for the ring card girls using.
No, I won't take credit for that. Celestino. I'll give credit to Celestino. They were pretty amazing.
Have any fight night? I don't know, Gilbert. Okay, well then you're going to have to reenact it. Tell us about it. Like walking into that arena.
Well, who's talking?
You.
Oh, okay. I thought I heard somebody else talking. Well, the coordination, last year what we did is we worked with a professional promoter, and the year before that he had a show, we had our show, and then he had a show the next day. So he approached Mauricio and said, why don't we do it together next year?
Was it Bobby?
Bobby Hits.
Yeah.
So he does it at the Dome, which is a beautiful place. It's like 2 soccer fields put together. So we did it together with him. But once we put all the lights and the whole thing, Tyson Lee was there from USA Boxing. He said, "What an amazing show!" That I never seen USA Boxing put something together like this. He fell in love with the program, and what I told him that we want to do, what the WBC is thinking of doing, and what we should do is start a WBC Amateur League, which we're in the process of creating, and do an advancing tournament.
There you go.
Do an advancing tournament where you actually, the belt means something. You work your way up the rankings, okay? And Mauricio loves the idea. We just got to sit down and put everything together. USA Boxing loves the idea. There'll be something like the Golden Gloves. We'll do it in every state once a year and have kids advance to different levels, you know, and maybe the WBC can create a division where they can move up to and be ranked at that point if they decide to turn professional. But the very important part, when I was telling Tyson Lee about this, is that we want to educate the kids. Put this together with education, not just the art of boxing. Educate them how to be a professional if they want to take that avenue. Okay, all these kids that when they come up to me, my full-time job still is with the boxing commission, and when these kids come here to turn professional, most of them don't know about a manager, promotional agreements, contracts. You know what I mean? A lot of them don't even know on proper nutrition. So if we educate them how to be a good professional, once they become, if they want to take that field, then I think it will be great to guide these kids and direct them that way. So that's one thing the WBC Amateur League wants to do, not just teach kids how to box. If you're gonna make this your career, what is the best way for you to make a living out of this so you don't get taken advantage of?
That's a good thought. Definitely, Joel. So before we wrap it up, I want to get some closing comments from everyone. Anything you want to say. So let's start. Joel, you just spoke. We'll come back to you. Let's start with Omar. Omar, what would you like to tell the people watching? Anything?
The WBC is a great program. I think the best in boxing, and I'm looking forward to another WBC 2 Nations 1 Dream program. And I'm looking forward to, even after the amateurs, become a WBC world champion.
Well, you got the shirt, so you made a right start. And Michelle, what would you like to say? Are you frozen, Michelle? Come back. Laylo.
No, like I said in the beginning, I'll start it off with this and I'll end with this as well. This has been the 2 Nations 1 Dream program has been the highlight of anything I've done.
Well, the first thing is that I'm very grateful. No, can you hear me now?
We can hear.
Yeah, we can.
I think his system's a little slow.
Michelle, go ahead. Give us some closing remarks. All right, we're going back to Laylo.
Yeah, I was saying, this has been the highlight of what I've done in the sport of boxing. Every year, like Joel and touched on, and then you showed the video. We've done a show with the WBC annually in Chicago. We did a tournament and we do shows. Each one has gotten better and better, and I'm so grateful that we had KNBS record and do that highlight clip for us, just to show the caliber of the shows that we do. We put on the best of the best. They might not be like big shows like 30, 40 bouts, but they're like 11, 12, 13 tops bouts of the best boxers we have. They're free shows. We've charged nothing to get in to these shows, and I look forward to bringing more of these to showcase local talent. I get calls from kids from Africa, from Ghana, saying, we'll come out to Chicago. We'll fly just so we can fight on your WBC show. So it's, and that's just that. I've gotten calls from all over the country, from the East Coast, West Coast, from the South to Canada. I had a kid from Canada reach out to me saying they would come down and fight if they could just get one shot to fight on the WBC show that we do here in Chicago. So I look forward to it, and it's an exciting show. And we do the best we possibly can, and I think we kill it. We do a great.
Kill it, for sure.
Great,
I'm back.
I see that we now have 2 Michelles. So one of those Michelles, any closing remarks? Michelle? All right.
No, I would like to say, first of all, can you hear me? Please tell me so.
Yeah, we hear you.
Mouth is not moving. Speak, please. Michelle?
I think his internet is not that good.
Do you hear me now?
Yes.
Well,
We don't hear you.
the thing I want to say to you is that I'm very grateful with Mauricio and you, Jill, because you trusted us. And also,
I feel so bad about this.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Unbelievable. Well, all right, we'll come back to Michelle. Joe, are you back? No. All right. Celestino, as a professional official, world renowned, give me some closing remarks here, what it means to you.
It means a lot to me. It feels good to get back to the amateur. A lot of coaches and amateur fighters, they kind of like, when they see me officiating their amateur fights, it's like, it's like, what are you doing here? You're supposed to be a world-class referee or whatever not. And I'm like, listen, I love the sport and I want to give back to the community and to the amateurs. This is where I started and I don't forget where I came from. So I always love to give back to them. And the good thing about it is a lot of these kids, man, they're so respectful and nice. And I just want to continue on that vibe. Respect your officials, respect your older and stuff like that. And this program, I tell you, it started so much. I've never recruited so many officials after this program. I mean, we've got more officials more than ever. Before we were struggling with having officials. And now because of this program, people were coming up, hey, how do I become a referee? How do I become a judge? And I pretty much showed them what to do. And we got over 60 officials now. So, I mean, it's amazing.
And there's also a secret, which is you do give the best after show party in Chicago.
Thank you.
But that's not the reason they sign up. They see someone like you and they go like, if he'll do it, there must be some reason to do it.
You know, and and the good thing about it is no one does it for money. Everyone does it because they love the sport. And as you see, through all this conversation that we've been having, nobody talks about pay.
No.
There ain't $1 million payday here, you know? We all do it because we love the sport. And this is a great thing about this.
And we love the kids.
And we love the kids, of course, you know?
Well, anything?
Nothing like watching these kids come up to you and says, hey man, I saw you on TV doing this fight and this fight. And then I'm refereeing their fight. It's
great.
something.
It's great. It's a relationship. Joel, anything more to say?
Just thank you, Jill. I want to thank Mauricio and the WBC for giving these kids an opportunity, creating these programs that professional organization is really looking out for the inner city kids, and us creating something that I think is going to flourish again. When I was growing up and before me, we had churches, the basement of churches had gyms. The Chicago Park District had, majority of the parks had gyms in them. I think now there's like a dozen of them left, you know? And without that foundation, teaching these kids respect and discipline, then we have the chaos that is going on in the city of Chicago. I mean, we average, I think we average more killings in this virus every weekend, you know?
Right.
So the creating these programs and giving these kids the opportunity and seeing an organization like the WBC worldwide recognized is very, very important. and we want to continue working. I'm a volunteer for this. Mauricio is my friend. I was a friend of Don Jose. So nobody does it for money. We all do it because we want to help. And
Right.
I've seen, in traveling, I've seen a lot of people like Lalo. We have a couple guys here in Chicago that I would like to mention. George Hernandez, who works in Garfield Park with inner city kids. Sam Colonna. So there's a lot of good coaches that do it out of the kindness of their heart. In Playa del Carmen, I got a personal friend that used to live here in Elgin, Miguel Morin, who takes kids from the street, drug addict kids, and out of his own pocket, nobody pays him. He runs this gym, and I can see the dedication he gives to it, you know? So let's all keep up the good work. And I think working with USA Boxing, trying to work together to bring and flourish boxing again, it does good for everybody. Even if you don't follow a career as a professional, the values that boxing teaches you, you know, it helps you throughout your life. That's basically it for me.
Beautiful.
Thank you, Joe.
Michelle, are you back with us? Do you want to try and say something?
I hope so. Do you hear me now?
Perfect.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, finally. First
channel.
of all, I'm very grateful with Mauricio and you, Gio, because you trusted us with this program. And I found my passion. I found my passion in boxing, in amateur boxing, because when I met the team that helped us there, all volunteers, Joel, I made a brother for me with Joel, Mario. Well, I don't want to mention all of them because I don't want to miss them, but I found my friends and I fell in love with this sport, and I want to continue to give the best that I can. And I'm very grateful because this program helped my heart grow and grow with kids and grow great friends. And it's the best thing that happened to me, you know, to participate in this program. And I'm thankful for WBC and Mauricio and to all of you guys that helped the program and the kids that participated in Mexico, in Acapulco, and all the people were involved. So it's awesome.
It's great. And I want to finish with Felix. Felix, give us your thoughts.
Yes, I just want to say thank you to the WBC. They gave me so many opportunities that I wouldn't have otherwise, and I'm just grateful to have been part of this event and this program. And I'm looking forward to working with the WBC in the future in my pro career, and I'm excited. Thank you guys so much, Jill, Mauricio, Michelle. Thank you guys so much.
Well, again, for me, revisiting this program is, as I said, very emotional. You cannot have witnessed what these kids did and what these adults gave to them and not feel moved by this program. Any sport will give a child the foundation they need to have a better life. But this sport is so maligned. And the truth is that a child, particularly one who has some anger issues or who does not know exactly what to do with their lives, walks into a place like this, and the respect, the sportsmanship, knowing when and how to use your fists, knowing when anger is appropriate, having an adult look at you seriously. A lot of these people never have adults really take them seriously as these coaches do. It's a shame that there is not more programs like this program being sort of an iconic one that could be a role model for other programs like this. And I don't know who's watching us today or what press is watching us today, but come on, 2 nations, 1 dream. It's a natural, it's for our kids, and our kids are our future. So stay home, stay safe, and stay cool.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I thank you for being.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Felix. Omar.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Bye.
Bye.
Good night.
Bye-bye. Thank you.